What up, East? I'm here with my boy Jeremy, aka DFS Dudes, and we're here to present you our NFL Week 11 picks. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below. This way you can watch all of our NFL, NBA, and MLB videos. And if you haven't came and checked out our site here at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily FanDuel and DraftKings cash lineups. We're truly a one-stop shop for all your DFS needs. So come check out the site right here at dfscheatsheet.com. So how you doing out there, Jeremy?
What's up, man? I'm doing good. Just trying to watch this Laker game, do this video. We owe our customers this content. So I'm ready to push this video, man. Get back to the Laker game.
Yeah, definitely. So real quick, before we get into this video, if you guys don't mind, please take a quick second for me. Click the like button down below. It helps me out a lot, and I really, really appreciate that from you guys. And yeah, so I mean, I'm ready to get into week 11. So let me get to the optimizer. We'll pull up the games. So we got week 11. It feels like this NFL season is just flying by, like absolutely flying by. So I mean, we got 13 games. A couple teams, I think have a bye week right now. Yeah, man. So I'm ready to go, definitely. So we'll get started first. We'll kind of start with the defense. That's an ugly spot, so we'll get that out the way, and we'll kind of just work our way through. We'll pick about 2 to 3 players from each position. And yeah, so I mean, I'm gonna start off with defense first. The first defense I'm going to go with, it's going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've actually been playing pretty well on the season. And they're going against a Jacksonville team that, I mean, I don't care if they've had a couple good weeks throughout the year. They're not a very good offense. We know Blake Bortles isn't good. So I think that Pittsburgh, they're going to be my first defense that I'm going to go with on the slate.
Nice, bro. I like Pittsburgh. I think they're in a good spot. First defense I'm going to jump to is Dallas. And I know that you look at this implied total and you can see the over-under is 48. You can see that the home team total for the Falcons is 25.75. But I'm not scared to roll Dallas out here, man. I like what Dallas has got going on. They got 2 really good young linebackers. Van Der Esch is absolutely legit. I mean, if you've watched any of Dallas's games this year, I'm not just making a homer call here. He was in prime time, in action. And you can see this is a legit football. The highest compliment you can pay anybody who plays a game of football is not call them by their position. You just call them a football player, and that dude's a football player. And then you got Jalen Smith playing at a high level also. This defense is really good. Atlanta, we picked on Atlanta from an offensive standpoint, right? And I think Dallas will be able to run the football in this game. I don't think anybody who's a Cowboy fan has forgot the 7-sack game where Dallas went into Atlanta and they just beat up Dak Prescott and company, embarrassed that offensive line. So this is a redemption shot. I think Dallas will be able to run the football. Zeke looks like he's in just absolute great form. And this defense, I like this defense, man. You can take a look at their game log and see, against Jacksonville going back that far, 11 points. They had a 7-point game against Tennessee, a 5-point game against Philadelphia. Not overwhelming by any means, but for tournaments, I need an upside play, right? And Dallas is getting after the quarterback. They're getting sacks. They're forcing turnovers. They're 7th in overall defense in the NFL. So I'm going with Dallas at 3,400. I think it's a very good discount play. Allows you to pay up in some other spots. It's just I feel good about picking Dallas in this one.
Yeah, so the next defense I'm going to go with is Joe Flacco's out. We know that. So, you got Baltimore bringing in the rookie Jackson. The guy, I think he's going to be special. He's going to be a good player. But Cincinnati's defense, they're a pretty good defense. And, we know that Jackson can run the ball and he's very good on the ground. But I need to see him prove to me that he can actually throw the ball. That's kind of been a knock on him. So I like Cincinnati, and I think that I'm going to go with them as my second defense. I think that they're very fair price tag on the week. And I mean, definitely, I understand. I mean, they can get lit up. You know, the rookie could come out, but he's not going to come out and be a Patrick Mahomes and throw for 5 touchdowns and do all that stuff. It's not going to happen. I definitely think the rookie's going to struggle throwing the ball a little bit. So Cincinnati's going to be my second defense.
I like it. So I'm going to roll my second defense out there, and I'm going to streamline this value play, man. I'm going to keep – the thing to me is there's not a defense this week that I really want to pay up for, and for some reason the pricing on FanDuel, the defense is – if you've noticed, the defensive pricing has gone way down. I mean, these are looking like DK what DK defenses look like. You know, these $3,000 defenses. Last year on FanDuel, all these defenses were, got up there to 5,800. It was hard to pay up for a defense, but there's no reason to pay up for the Chargers at 4,600. I'm going to streamline this. I'm going to go right back down here, and I'm going to take the defense. I just lost my notes here, bro. I'm sorry. Who did I have written down? New Orleans. I'm sorry. The New Orleans defense against Philadelphia is another tournament defense that I like. The thing is that New Orleans is at home. This place gets loud. This New Orleans team is putting up so many damn points. And for me, when I take a look at, like I said with Dallas, when I take a look at defense, I don't have to pay up for this. And I'm looking for like an upside who's not going to kill me defense, get me, between 5-7 points. And if they give me 12 or 13 because they get a pick six, even better. But, Dallas played well against Philadelphia. Philadelphia is not the team they were last year. So I don't have any problem going here and playing New Orleans at $3,300. Gives me a nice discount. Last week, they got 9 fantasy points against the Cincinnati team, right? They had 4 sacks, 2 interceptions. What happens is their offense is putting so much pressure on other offenses to score that it puts them in pass rush situations. And they can these defensive linemen can pin their ears back and they can go get the quarterback. So I'm going to go with another value play here at 3,300 and go New Orleans against Philadelphia.
Yeah, I like it. I definitely was looking at them as well. I just didn't really like the matchup. I don't think it's a cash game play, but definitely for GPPs. I mean, they're dirt cheap, like you said. So we'll move on to the tight end position. First guy I'm going to go with is going to be Zach Ertz going against the New Orleans Saints. I understand, everything you were saying about the Saints, I understand. They're dirt cheap, all that. They're not bad. But Zach Ertz is the best tight end in the league. There's not really no way around it. He's averaging 11 targets a game. He's killing all tight ends in pretty much every single stat. Definitely the best tight end in the league right now. So I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to go with Zach Ertz in a game. I think that, these teams are definitely going to be throwing back and forth against each other. It's going to be a high-scoring game, and I like Ertz as my first tight end.
Yeah, man, I totally get that. And like I said, their offense, the Saints' offense puts a lot of pressure on other offenses to score. So they score a lot of points, and I can see Philadelphia having to throw the ball and Ertz getting a lot of targets. I like the pick. I'm going to go with Eric Ebron at 6,000. Look, there's just no denying what the guy's done this year, and he's got touchdown upside every time he gets on the field, right? I mean, he's got 9 touchdowns already this season. He showed last week with 26.6 points on 3 targets that he doesn't need a ton of targets to score. He's clearly a red zone target for Andrew Luck. The dude likes him. He's had as many as 15 targets in a game this season. I don't really have to get very far into depth. Everybody knows what Eric Ebron's done on the season. At $6,000, it's a limited tight end pool again this week. This is a guy I'm going to roll out in tournaments again.
Yeah, no, definitely a solid pick. Been using him throughout the season as it is, so I don't mind that play at all. Next guy I'm going to go with is going to be Jared Cook for the Raiders. The Raiders without Amari Cooper, there's some targets that have opened up. And, last week, Cook, he got 9 targets. We seen earlier in the year the guy was getting a bunch of targets. We know that Carr does like throwing to him. So I think that he's in a good spot. I think it's a very fair price tag. He's a good little mid-tier tight end. Think about tight end outside of the couple of top ones. You never know what you're going to get, and you pretty much just play for, hopefully you get 8 to 10 fantasy points or you get a touchdown out of them and get, 12 to 14. So I think Jared Cook is a guy that we can look at to get some targets on Sunday. going against the Cardinals. And then the Cardinals have just been bad this season, guarding the tight end position. So this is a plus matchup for Jared Cook as well. Definitely think he's in a good spot.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I'm going to go with Evan Ingram. And the reason is, as you stated last week when Jordan Reed was a guy you liked, this is like a Jordan Reed pick, man. We know Tampa Bay is terrible against tight ends. We've picked tight ends against Tampa Bay all year long. The dude got 5 targets for four receptions, 46 yards last week. I'm streamlining this play. There's no other explanation needed. I'm taking a tight end who's been getting targets. He's got 14 targets and 9 receptions in the last 2 weeks, 1 touchdown. I'm going to streamline this guy. I think Eli Manning also becomes a somewhat popular play this week going against Tampa Bay as well. The over-under in that game is 52. They've got an implied total of 27. So I'm going to take Ingram at 5,800 and just move on.
Yeah, no, I like to play. He's actually on my radar as well. I had him as he's my number 3 tight end this week. I like him. I definitely think he's in a good spot. So next, the guy I'm gonna go with, I'm not gonna. Anybody can sit here and just pick these top end wide receivers and just say, hey, play this. That's not what I'm here to try to do. I'm trying to give you guys some really good plays on the week. And, we can't pay up everywhere, but we want to take advantage of pricing. And I think a guy that's very fair price is Kenny Golladay. We played him last year, and the guy really worked out for us. 6,400. We need him to hit, for value, pretty much 12, 13 fantasy points. One thing that I do like about Golladay is Marvin Jones. He's possibly out. If he's possibly out, then Stafford's going to force the ball to Golladay for sure. And I could definitely see this be if Jones is out, I could see this be a week where he's going to get 13 targets, something like that. I definitely think he's a lock for at least 10 targets, especially since they have no more Golden Tate. It's really just him and Marvin Jones. So I like Golladay. I think he's a very fair price tag, and I definitely think you throw him in your cash games.
Yeah, I look, like you said, we liked him last week. I think the guy's very fair priced, and like you said, with Marvin Jones possibly being out, it's a guy that you can definitely roll in. I'm gonna go with Robert Woods. Obviously, we know the news of Cooper Kupp, so we've done this before when Cooper Kupp was got hurt in that Denver game. The guy that we loved the next week, we loved Robert Woods, and we loved Brandon Cooks. I think both of them are very fair plays. $7,500, Robert Woods. This Rams offense is super explosive. We know that. You want to make sure you have guys from this team in your lineups and get exposure to them. So I'm going to go with Robert Woods here.
Yeah, no, I like to play. I mean, you explained it, and it's crazy because sometimes, bro, I feel like we're just being repetitive. But in NFL, I mean, it is what it is. That's just you got the guys who gets the targets week in and week out, and if they continue to be in good spots, you continue to go back to the well. If you played them 1 week because the guy's injured and the guy's injured the next week and the price tag didn't jump too much, you go right back to the well. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? And so I'm going to go to my next wide receiver pick. This one's a little bit off the board, but it makes sense. Not just I'm a Cowboys fan, but I'm going to go with Amari Cooper. Since coming to our team, we've been looking for him in 2 games since being with us. He's got 18 targets, averaging about 9 a game. He's caught 11 of them for 133 yards and a touchdown. He's our big play guy, and as he gets more comfortable with Dak, I definitely think that he's gonna do even better. 6,600 is a very fair price tag for him, taking advantage of the price right now. Because it is going to jump up. We've seen him close to 8,000 in years past when he was the main focal point of the Raiders offense. He does have that upside. So I like Cooper, 6,600, very fair price tag. I think you could throw Golladay and Cooper in your lineups and feel pretty comfortable with it. So Amari Cooper is going to be my second wide receiver pick.
Yeah, man, I would have taken him if you didn't. He's just played well. That he's changed the Dallas offense, that's for sure. He's definitely changed the offense. We were talking earlier in the year so much about how they just needed to get somebody to help that offense out because they have no weapons, and he's done that. I'm going to go at $7,400, and I'm going to go to Mike Evans. The Giants are a bad team. They gave they gave up a lot of points to 49ers. The 49ers defense found a way to screw that game off. I think Mike Evans, we waited for him to have a big week last week. It didn't really come. And that's why I'm going to roll him right back out. I'm going to go back to the well. I think the price of $7,400 is very fair. He did get 6 targets last week. He drops a wide open touchdown. I think when guys, these are human beings, man. When they screw up, they know they screw up, and they can't wait to get back on the field and go and make up for that mistake. Very, very pedestrian numbers in his last 2 games. Only 67 total yards and 4 receptions, but he's got 16 targets. And then you look at the game, 2 games before that where he gets 13 catches on 24 targets for over 286 yards and a touchdown. So I'm going to take him here. The Giants secondary is very weak. Mike Evans is a solid wide receiver. Fitzmagic will be back under center for him as well, and we know he slings it around. So I'm going to go Mike Evans, 7,400.
Yeah, no, I definitely like the play. I liked him this week for sure. So I'm ready to move on to running backs if you are, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, cool, bro. Well, the first running back I'm going to go with, you touched on it already. Obviously, I'm liking this Cowboys offense. Atlanta's defense is just bad. They're ranked 31st in the league in DVOA. They're ranked 30th in the league, against the run. This is an absolute great spot for Ezekiel Elliott. The guy's second in the league to Todd Gurley in touches per game, averaging 24 a game, 19 carries, at least 5 targets. Love Ezekiel Elliott. It's crazy because Ezekiel Elliott is 8,400. I'm not saying he's Todd Gurley, but like I just mentioned to you guys, he's second in the league in touches per week to Todd Gurley, but yet the guy is $2,200 less. $2,200 less than Todd Gurley. It's crazy. I think it's a very crazy kind of like difference in their price. I think that Elliott should be a little bit priced up more, but hey, that's good for us. So I'm definitely going to take advantage of the very fair price tag going against Atlanta, the absolute worst defense in the league. The Cowboys are going to put up some points in this game, and I like it. I think Elliott's one of the top plays, and he's a really good cash game play as well.
I'm going here, and I'm going to go Christian McCaffrey. We've taken running backs all year long against Detroit. You've got to keep doing it here. McCaffrey, a dual threat running back, catches the ball. They're giving him the ball in the red zone now. There's not a lot to say here. Running backs against Detroit, it's worked all year. Don't get cute. $8,600 for McCaffrey. He's averaging at least 20 opportunities a game. 34 and 30 fantasy points in the last 2 weeks against Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay. I'm taking McCaffrey, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like McCaffrey, bro. Hey, they were doubting him at first, and I've always been a believer. Definitely think he's a really good running back. Keep saying he's too small to run. Hey, he runs between the tackles. Solid for sure. So the next guy I'm going to go with that running back, it is going to be, let me find him, Kerryon Johnson for Detroit. I mean, it's looking like he's the man now. I mean, he's out snapping. LeGarrette Blount last week it was 55-10, out snapping Blount. Definitely like Johnson. He's looking like the workhorse, averaging 5.4 yards per carry. And the guy's is still just too cheap. 6.2 for a guy who's the workhorse on this team. And the guy, not only is he, rushing the ball, he's getting a bunch of catches out the backfield. He has 30 catches on the season. I think this is a solid spot for him against Carolina. I definitely think this game is going to be, there's going to be points scored on both sides. And I like Kerryon. I think he's very, very underpriced in this matchup.
Yeah, I like him. I mean, they haven't had a running back, and he's been the guy this year that has really taken that job over. They haven't had a running back for a while there. I'm going to go right back to the well this week. Gave you guys David Johnson last week. His price went up $1,000, but rightfully so. He put up 33.8 fantasy points last week with 21 attempts, 98 yards, and a touchdown. Had 9 targets, 7 receptions, 85 yards, and a touchdown. Told you guys last week they've been putting this guy out in the slot. They've been looking for every opportunity to get him more involved. It's a new offensive coordinator. We know that. You take a look at the DVOA numbers, And, the Raiders are 25th in DVOA against running backs. The running backs in the passing game, they're 32nd in DVOA there. So I'm going with David Johnson. I think this guy's – I said last week I thought it was a get-right spot. They'd get him back involved. He'd go off. He did. I'm going to just roll that pick right back out. I'm going to go right back to him. I think he's too cheap for the amount of opportunity that he has.
Yeah, no, definitely. Definitely think it's a great pick for sure. So we'll move on to quarterback now. At quarterback, I'm going to start with the guy. We talked about it. We expect this game on both sides to be high scoring. So I'm going to go with Carson Wentz. Still under 8,000, 7,700, a very good price tag for this guy. I mean, come on. This guy has been consistent as can be. He's got, pretty much 19 to what? No, yeah, about 19 to 26 fantasy points at least in the past 6 games. He's giving you a solid floor for your cash games. Like I said, I expect this game to be a shootout. The guy actually has a lot of weapons. Not only now he has Golden Tate, Jeffrey's healthy, and then he also got the guy Matthews that they let go last year, and he's back, and he's been playing well as well. So, and then they got the man himself, Zach Ertz. So he has a lot of weapons to throw to. And I really like Wentz. I think he's a really good player. I definitely think you could even look at him in your cash games.
Yeah, I don't mind him. So I'm going to go to the true tournament play this week. And I'm going to just take a look at this guy's last 3 weeks, right? Eli Manning, there's all kinds of talk about this guy. Was this his last 4 quarters he played in this Monday night game against the 49ers? He only threw for 188 yards on 31 pass attempts, but he had 3 touchdowns for 19.52 fantasy points. He threw for 316 yards against Washington and 1 touchdown. He threw for 399 yards against Atlanta and 1 touchdown. I'm going Eli Manning. We know Tampa Bay's terrible. I'll pair him up with Evan Ingram. I'll take the value at 6,700. In NBA, we were talking about some on the video the other night where we're saying, who would you rather have, Quinn Cook or Colin Sexton for the opportunity? For me, you're talking about the rookie. Who would you rather have? For me, I'd rather take Eli Manning with something to prove here as he kind of in the twilight of his career. With Odell Beckham and Evan Ingram, Saquon Barkley with the opportunity to go against a really bad Tampa Bay defense.
Yeah, bro. So in all honesty, I was not looking at no Eli Manning, but honestly, I wasn't even really paying attention, to that. I mean, Eli Manning, bro. We know that he is on the back end of his career, but the guy still has 3 touchdown upside. Tampa Bay and Atlanta are the worst 2 defenses in the league. Tampa Bay being the last. We always want to attack them. So yeah, I think this is a great spot. I think you definitely, this is a good pick. It's something that I wasn't looking at, but it is a good pick. I like this pick for sure. Eli Manning, and one thing too, and I was going to quickly mention it in wide receivers. Odell Beckham's been picking it up. He's really starting to get it going. Him and Manning got that connection working a little bit. He has the rookie and Barkley that is helping him with the dump offs and stuff. I like it. Definitely think it's a good pick. So for me, I'm gonna go right back to the well. I'm going with Fitzmagic. You talked about Evans. You said you loved Evans. Hey, I loved Fitzpatrick as well. I was hoping you didn't take him. Hey, last week, bro, he busted on everybody. It is what it is. But guess what? That's the best time, especially, in daily fan sports. People jump off somebody just because they have a bad week or they have a bad game. If it's basketball, it's like they're human. They're fans. They're human just like us, and they have bad games. And I think last week, Fitzpatrick, he just got some bad luck. They were driving a couple times, and he fumbled once. And then they were driving a couple times. He threw a touchdown to Evans. Evans dropped it. Then they were driving another time, and the running back had fumbled it. That was 3 drives that stalled due to a turnover. And they weren't all Fitzpatrick's fault. And he still threw for 400 yards last week. So he was still chucking the ball around. So to me, that just really shows me that he was definitely moving the ball. He threw for 400 yards. And, the drives were just stalling. Kind of bad luck. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So I'm going to go right back to the well, going against the Giants. I definitely think both of these teams are going to put up some points in this game. Both defenses aren't very good. 7,600, the price tag is staying right there. We know that Fitzpatrick is going to throw the ball around, and he has 30 fantasy point upside. We've seen it in the past. We've seen it. So I'm gonna go with Fitzpatrick as my last quarterback pick.
Yeah, I mean, the thing you got to look at is you could say he busted on everybody, and technically he did, right? He busted, but he also had 2 picks, an interception, and threw for 406 yards. So I like the pick, man. I'm going right back to the well again, and I'm going with Drew Brees. You cannot find a hotter quarterback or a guy who's playing at a better level right now than Drew Brees is. 2,601 passing yards, 21 passing touchdowns. This Saints offense is phenomenal. They've got so many weapons. Michael Thomas, Kamara, Mark Ingram getting back in the fold. Benjamin Watson at tight end. They've got the Treadwell, the rookie. I mean, this team, this offense, they've got something to prove, man. Everybody's talking about the Rams early on. They came out, they smashed the Rams. They go to Cincinnati on the road last week. Oh, they're going on the road away from the Dome. What they do? They smash them. Breeze last week completes 22 of 25 passes. The guy is 28 fantasy points last week, 31 the week before. I really like Drew Brees in this spot. I think I look back a couple years ago when they missed Mark Ingram for a little stretch. They came out, they threw the ball all over the place. Ingram came back, and they went back to running it. We thought they would do that this year. They haven't done it yet. Maybe they learned their lesson, and they're just going to keep riding this wave that they're on right now with offense, and it's going through Drew Brees. This guy is unbelievable. He's having an unbelievable season. $8,500, I'll pay it all day long. This guy's going to continue to go out and shred people.
Yeah, no, I like it. It's funny because, hey, I mean, obviously you could tell a couple games, a couple spots that we're really liking. I like both sides of the New Orleans and Philadelphia side of things. So I think that's about all we got for our NFL Week 11 picks. I mean, if you haven't already, come check out the site. Got the full optimizer. Things have been going very well. The optimizer's been doing very well with NFL. Definitely have had some really good success. Had a couple of takedowns already with it. So yeah, man, if you haven't already, come check out the site, dfscheatsheet.com. Real quick, we just check out what the optimizer has. So early in the week, it's like in Cam Newton, Ezekiel Elliott. This guy, Valdez-Scantling, he just continues to be a really good value play. Look at your boy Robert Woods that you were talking about. Bro, they got a lot of guys that we were touching on. Steelers defense, that was one of the defenses that I talked about. Hey, I think we're pretty spot on with this video. But yeah, for sure. So hey, if you haven't already, man, come check out the site. Throw some lineup. Got a little Carson Wentz lineup right in there too. Yeah, bro. I think we hit the picks pretty good this week. So yeah, hey, that's all I got. Thanks for helping me out with this video, Jeremy. We will be back tonight with our NBA morning shoot around for tomorrow. So make sure and tune in about an hour. And thanks for checking out this video. All right, you guys have a good one. Good luck this week in your NFL lineups. Peace out.